Carl Haas. He is the owner of both Christian Fittipaldi and Michael Andretti, the first two cars, and bases his team just outside of Chicago, Illinois. When we come back, we think we'll have back in Belle Isle, Detroit, the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix, a 2.1-mile, 14-turn temporary road circuit. Let's go back to 1994. Battle with the teammates. Al Unser Jr. leading Paul Tracy as Tracy locks him up and punts him right in. Shades of what happened just a few moments ago, except no contact this time. Little Al did it all to himself.
Well, he did, but he was taking that opportunity that Paul presented him. I think Paul was a little slow coming out of that one corner. He got a chance to get along side. Fortunately, it was damp. So
they line up with Christian Fittipaldi ahead of Michael Andretti on the circuit, and then Jill DeFerrin, Bobby Rahal, Paul Tracy, and the rest of the field, again under the new rule of putting the first 12 cars, which are the cars on the lead lap, at the front of the line. Ready to go green, and we're green again.
I'll tell you what, Christian Fittipaldi's made good restarts all day long. He's had some really strong restarts.
Paced very well back to the line as Michael Andretti now tries to close on Christian Fittipaldi. Everybody should be able to go to the finish. As yet, we don't know officially whether or not that finish is 77 laps or 2 hours, but certainly the assumption is 2 hours, which would bring it in, what, about 19 past the hour, somewhere in there. The official word now, 19 minutes, 8 seconds.
Well, that's important, because if you cross that finish line at 19 minutes and those 8 seconds aren't there, you've got to do one more lap.
One more to go.
It does make a difference.
Back with Jill DeFerrin now. Bobby Rahal closing on him. That fight will be for third, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Those two Newman Haas cars seem to have the measure of the field just at the moment. That last car right there with the Firestone, the red, white, and blue one right behind Paul Tracy's red and white car right there on your screen. Scott Pruitt, I think, has done a great job today because he's hung in there. Didn't have the best tires at the start, but he's hung in there. And now he's battling for a strong position. Of course, he started on the pole position.
And still trying to work his way back. Jerry Punch?
Well, the search continues, Paul, for Al Unser Jr. The Team Penske guys have gone up to Chris Mears. Others have gone looking for him. They've checked the motorhome, the coach, the paddock, the garage area, a couple of concession stands, and they figure what's happened. Probably he's found the TV monitor to watch what should be a thrilling finish of this race, but they're still hunting him. Right now, no luck.
Yeah, I'll bet he probably grabbed a hot dog and went for a motor coach somewhere. You know, he drives to most of the tracks in his own coach. Loves that.
Yeah, I think that seems to be an Unser family tradition. Big Al did it. Bobby did it. They really enjoy their time. They tow around, have wave runners in the back, and cars, they stop and go take the kids out to the lake. Really enjoy it.
More and more of the drivers do that. Scott Pruitt continuing to close now on Paul Tracy. Looks for the position on the inside. Nope.
That's a tough place to pass a fast car. Paul Tracy up very high again, coming off that corner. He was in the wet, very close up against the wall.
Here comes Scott Pruitt again. And once it gets dry, those Firestones really come on the line again. And he lost a little too much on that corner. Now he's going to have to set him up again. Say a lot of the guys now, Parker Johnstone is one of them. A lot of the drivers are beginning to use those the coaches, and what it does is it lets them stay at the racetrack and kind of get away from all of the craziness of having to get the crowd coming in the morning and fight the traffic. You can sit there with your cup of coffee and watch everybody else come in. Say hi, guys. You have to get up at 4 to be here.
My wife Brenda and I did it last year, and it was very enjoyable, and it sure made a nice race. Particularly the tracks at the hotels are a long way away, and when you're working late at night, Scott Pruitt stayed here on Friday night with his engineers till 9:30 trying to sort that car out for Saturday. Obviously paid off with his pole.
Paul Tracy trying to hold on with his Goodyears, under attack now by both Pruitt and Fernandez. Firestone was just a moment ago.
So he gets out there just in that damp right there, slides it up. Whoa! I'll tell you what, if he didn't touch it, I'd be surprised. But
gives you an idea, though, of how much pressure he is under from Scott Pruitt. That's a desperate drive now for Tracy, and it's not to catch a position. It's trying to keep away from Pruitt.
Well, not only that, but he hasn't had the strongest season. He'd like to get some more points.
Pruitt at this point, clearly the faster car. Between these two, let's watch them under braking here.
Yeah, but Paul, you can be faster, but if you can't get by that car in front, it doesn't count.
Well, even on a perfectly dry day.
That's right. I tell you, Scott's looking at every opportunity around this track, and that makes it tough on Paul because he can't just focus on trying to make the car go fast and catch up to Bobby Rahal in front of him. He's got to fend off all the challenges from Scott.
Battle for fifth. Paul Tracy, Scott Pruitt in the red, white, and blue car. Adrian Fernandez, green and white, just behind him, Jerry Punch.
Just talked with Chuck Sprague, the team manager for Paul Tracy, who told me that Paul had complained that the car had a serious push and understeer during that last pit stop. They made a wing adjustment, and Paul said, you fixed the wing and you fixed the push, but I don't think I've done enough to hold off Pruitt. He is really hooked up.
Well, those Firestones are coming into play. That tire battle has added just a whole nother dimension to IndyCar racing in the past year.
For everybody at home, that push and that understeer means that the front end's not turning the way that he wants to. It's just not got as much groove. We got a report from Jack.
Yeah, Danny, as the temperature begins to go up here, one of the things that the Firestone engineers said earlier in the day is they needed temperatures above 70 degrees to repeat the performance that they did in qualifying. I don't know what the outside temperature is right now, but it's getting awfully close.
Oh, you ought to see Scott Pruitt as he tried to get inside Tracy. Tracy shut it down on him.
Boy, that was a tricky place to pass, but it looked like Paul had trouble coming out of that corner. Scott jumped in there. Paul wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, and Scott didn't lose all that much with that maneuver. The front, it's still the Newman Haas teammates, Fittipaldi and Andretti, followed by DeFerrin in Detroit. Back on Belle Isle in Detroit for the ITT Automotive Detroit Grand Prix on a day that started with just pouring rain and dried here. And now we are watching some good fights. DeFerrin in third, trying to hold off Rahal. And the sky has brightened a bit. In fact, it was a little brighter just seconds ago. But obviously that cloud layer is going up a little bit, and rain is no longer a threat whatsoever in a race that will end as a timed race at about 19 minutes. Well, precisely at 19 minutes and 8 seconds after the hour, the checker will come out. Christian Fittipaldi is the leader. He has been most of the run after he was able to come up through the field and get around the pole sitter, who was Scott Pruitt. And it was an interesting battle between the tire companies and has been throughout the day. Firestone was not as prepared as they could have been for a battle in the rain. They responded to that, though, grooved their own tires, added grooves to their existing rain tires. But then as the track is dried, once again, the Firestone tires look very strong. But for the moment, Goodyear is holding the top two positions. So that's been fun to watch as well.
You see Scott Pruitt's dropped back just a little bit there. He's sliding the car around a little bit more. Paul Tracy seems to have stretched out a little bit of a cushion. There's some good battles going through here, and Adrian Fernandez is right behind him, hanging on to that battle.
This is an ongoing fight for fifth place. Then you got that fight between DeFerrin and Rahal just ahead of them for third place. Now we're going to look back. Here comes Blundell. Jerry Punch.
You know, you got to give a call to Mark Blundell. He was injured in a horrific 197-mile-an-hour crash back on March 17th at Rio. He fractured 3 bones in his right foot. This is the first time he's been on a road course. And remember, when you do brake with your right foot, I talked to him before the race. He said, "Doc, this is very, very uncomfortable. He said, it's downright painful to be able to brake with my right foot. But that's the side of my foot where the bones are still broken." He said, "I'm going to try to survive 77 laps. And if I can finish, it'll be somewhat of a miracle." And, folks, he has done a tremendous job, currently showing in the top 10, I think, Paul, at 8th spot.
And so the rain helped out there. It won't be quite 77 laps. Mark Blundell And I'll tell you what, well, another car, and it looks like Rahal. It is Rahal into the barrier. Well, he was running in 4th place and was trying to catch DeFerrin, and maybe he tried just a little too hard.
Of course, that's that spot there, too, Paul, where there's that little moisture still on the track, a little added there from the tires. I'm imagining if Bobby's been in there twice, they're going to have to go full course yellow for this. And I owe him a little apology. Last week I said that he had 3 children. Actually, I made a mistake. He has 4 children.
Exactly. Well, Rahal, can he get that car going again? It looks like it was only glancing. If it didn't do too much in terms of bending or rearranging the left front, we go to the full course yellow once again. Pits will be open. Shouldn't be a reason for anybody to head in the pits. I'm wondering about the suspension arms on the left front.
Well, let's look here. He gets off there a little high. Oh, before he got a little wide. Probably got some. He's clapping his hands. He wants him to push him back like nothing's wrong, but I'm not so sure he wouldn't have torn up the nose. You hit those tires.
Oh, look at the tire.
Look at the wheels
in the front.
Left front wheel is pointing way out there, right there under the safety crew.
So with the full course yellow once again.
There's Bobby.
Rahal unstrapped. They'll get that situation resolved.
Stay out. Stay out. Thank God. I was just trying to get a rise out of you guys. It's been too quiet for me.
So Michael Andretti's sense of humor.
Talk about this later.
Lee White talking to Michael Andretti. So under the full course caution, they will get the field back together once again, and they'll all be strung together. So theoretically, it will be a sprint now with just a few minutes remaining. We'll be back after these messages. So full course caution, and everybody bunched up once again. The leaders still staying in contact all the way down through 11th place. P.J. Jones is the end of the lead lap, and we'll look for the eagle nose on that car. There it is. Beautiful, beautiful paint job on those machines. And let's go to Jerry Punch.
Well, Paul, Tim Cindric is the team manager for Bobby Rahal. And Tim, we had reports from observers that something may have broken on the car. Any comment or any reactions from Bobby?
Bobby's reaction was just simply that we were in the wall. So I'm not sure if anything actually did break. Just watching it on the replay, it looked like maybe we hit a curb prior to going into the fence, which actually pushed the car into the fence itself.
This run today had to be a huge morale boost for the team, considering the problems you struggled through the last few months.
Sure, we've done a lot of work between Long Beach and now to try and put the Miller car up front and try and get our team back where it should be in the standings in the points championship as well as at each venue. So I think we made a lot of progress. We had a fast car all weekend. It's unfortunate what happened toward the end of the race today.
This would have been their second top 5 finish of the year. Let's go to Jack Arute.
Jerry, normally the crews stand it ready like this, maybe 1 foot on the wall. When Michael Andretti radioed in, I'm coming in, these guys did a high jump of about 14 feet. We could take them to the Olympics. Lee White was the first one on the radio. He's talking to Michael right now. We'll catch him as he's done, because they can only talk to Michael on the front side of the course because of the length of this course. So we're going to see. Lee, you had to straighten Michael out right quick. You said, we'll talk about it later. That really surprised you, didn't it, that him coming in, that he wanted to come in? You were really surprised.
Mike was messing with us a little bit there. He thought he'd been real quiet because we're having some radio problems, and he just thought he'd wake the guys up, and it worked.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we said, these guys jumped about 14 feet. They all ought to be on Team USA in Atlanta.
I'll tell you what, I've had the very same feeling from time to time as we look down from the Honda Helicam, yellows all the way around the circuit. You know, a lot of people have had to fight the elements the past couple of days here in Detroit. The IndyCar teams and the rest of the series that are racing here, but also the television technical crew. Sometimes we assume that all of these great pictures and the good audio just comes streaming out of your TV set, and I got to tell you, it takes legions of people to get that all set in. And in this particular case, they did it in the rain, and then when it continued raining, they've started all the broadcasts today in the rain. And believe me, these things don't operate real well in the rain.